To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Helping you along the way. Helping you to make it through another day. Yeah, yeah. Everything you need to know that you never knew, that you need to know. Lockhart Perspective.
Well, hello, and good evening to each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm asking the question because at the end of the day, everything that we're seeing right now, everything that's going on around us is all about one thing. There's never been anything, and I do mean anything, that has not been that's not started simply because of tonight's topic. Everything you can think of has something to do one way or another with money, the lack of money, the love of money, the greed and the love. Even those that are greedy say they don't love anything or anyone. Well, they love that money. And tonight we're looking at I wish that there was a way that I could put this clock that I've got here on in the background, because I tell you right now, it would be running. But just in case, let me go on ahead and just put it up for us. Even though we can't let it be my background, I can definitely put it here and let it just all sink in. Let me give it to you right quick. Just one good look. Just take one good look at it, ticking away. Grandmama, granddaddy gonna be gone, and all the grandchildren and great grands and everybody else is going to be paying for this. Okay? All right? That's what's happening. That's what's real. Jeffrey Woodland, Vine Dressers Branch, Jane Doe, Deborah Johnson, and Iowa Free Thinker. Hello. That's what's going on. That's the name of the game. Money. Money makes the world go around. All we need is a little tambourine and a little drum beat. That's all we need. So this is the deal. This is what we're speaking of tonight. We're going to look at a few different situations that all have something to do with money. Every single one of them have something to do with money. We're looking at a lot of different things. And the reason why I want to do that is because we need to highlight exactly how corrupt everything is right now. Do you know that there is no one that can relieve us of any of the stuff that's going on that you and that myself and that other people know? There's absolutely. So really, anytime we have a conversation and we're talking about what's going on, there's really nothing that's going to be done. We may as well compare pictures of our grandchildren or compare pictures of our graduates or do something else, because all we're doing is complaining. So tonight, I'm going to put the rubber down there on the road, and we're going to take a look at a couple of things. Matter of fact, I may just let you guys continue to look this, okay? You guys may just go ahead and continue to look at this, and I'll go ahead and read a couple of stories just so that you can see where I'm coming from. Everything from, people cheating others out of the lottery money. You know what I mean? Hey, everybody was poor all at the same time, right? Everybody was poor, broke, disgusted, and all of the above, all at the same time. And then all of a sudden, it came time to play that lotto. You really, in your heart of hearts, didn't think that you were going to win. But what you did was you said, hey, you know what? When I do, I'm going to split it with all of you. And here's the story. A man promises. Now look how far. This was back in June. But a man promised to split his lottery winnings with his friends if he wins. We're going to get deeper. We're starting with the light, but we're going to get deep. We're going to get deep because we've been fleecing another country. We've been fleeced on behalf of another country, and we got to pay it back and never want anything to do with any of it. We didn't want anything. So we're going to get there. We're going to look at it. I've got a tweet from Cynthia McKinney. Okay. We're going to go look at some archived information if it's still there. All right. We're going to take a gander at that. But we're going to start with this story. Something that, you know what, we could all relate to. We may have known somebody who had, a job and this may have happened. So let's get busy. Okay. Let me give you guys the full screen, as you know I do. Now, mind you, you guys know, oftentimes when I'm reading these stories, I've not read them. I get the title, matches what I need. We go in together. So the man promises to split his lottery winnings with his friends if he wins. And after he wins, don't you know they never heard from that joker again? Keeping it light. Okay. Okay. This is a work, it says, of nonfiction based on actual events as told to me by a family friend who experienced them firsthand, used with permission. All right. So it says a family friend was in dire straits. His wife threw him out of the house because she didn't like the birthday and anniversary gifts that he bought her. Now, wait a minute. Let me come over here. If that's not what we're talking about, I don't know what is. If that's not what we're talking about, I don't know what is. So girlfriend didn't like the gifts. Here, Dion. Girlfriend did not like the gifts that he got her. Does that not sound like greed? Yeah, it does. Everything we're talking about tonight has something to do with greed. Everything we are talking about tonight has something to do with greed. Period. Here, Dion. All right. And that's how she was. She was greedy. Oh, yeah. We're talking about the United States and us being the ATM of the Ukraine tonight. We're getting there. Please believe we're getting there. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. I see you, Deborah. I see you. I see you. Yeah. She's ungrateful. That's exactly right. She's ungrateful, Jeffrey. And don't you know that ungratefulness is rooted in greed? And if it was the reverse, she would have been got rid of him. I don't know what kind of work he did, but let's just listen to this story together. Let's go ahead and get it because I really want to get down to the whole Ukraine thing. I really want to get down to where the money went. I really want to get down to this cat just, being out of here. They just ousted him. You know what I mean? They put him on Front Street is what it is. Because anybody that is able to amass the amount of money that that cat did, they know who he was and what he was doing. They knew what he was doing. So it goes on to say that she was upset because she did not like the gifts that he bought her. The presents weren't luxurious enough. They weren't expensive enough. And worst of all, they weren't plentiful enough. Greedy. He told his best friend and his wife's friends, his best friend's wife, about the situation. And he didn't know what else to do because he had nowhere else to stay. The best friend was the kind of person who would give anyone the shirt off of his back. And fortunately, the man's best friend and the best friend's wife didn't think twice about helping him. They took him into their own household and told him that he could stay as long as he needed to stay to get back on his feet. When he didn't have enough money to pay his bills, his friends let him borrow money. And then when he couldn't repay their generous loan, they told him to consider it a gift. Well, he lived with his friends and he ate dinner with them every night. He didn't pay them a single red cent either. How could he? He didn't have any money to spare. Despite his lack of funds, he always scrounged up enough money to go for one thing, and that was to play the lottery. He was an avid lottery player. And as he filled out his lottery cards one night after dinner, he turned to his wife's friend. He turned to his friends and he said, "Excuse me, if I ever win the lottery, you will never want for anything again. I will take care of you and your wife. You're like my family to me. And in fact, if I win the big jackpot, I'm splitting it with you 50-50. Oh, I insist." Little did any of them imagine what would happen next. The man won the lottery. In fact, he won the big jackpot of $5 million, and he was thrilled. Who wouldn't be? Most people I know play the lottery for years without a big payoff, the author says. His friends were thrilled too, after all. He told them that he wanted to split the jackpot with them if he ever won, and now he was the winner. Surely they would have enough money to pay off their hefty mortgage, take a vacation, and still have enough left over to fund their early retirement. Life was good, or so they thought. The winner collected his lottery jackpot several weeks later. He moved out of his friend's house, leaving him and his wife with nothing. The man and his wife, who had been so generous with their home, food, money, and resources, never saw their lottery winner friend again. He didn't split his lottery winnings. He didn't even pay his friends back for their generosity. Instead, he went back to his wife, who was more than happy to take him back now that her husband was wealthy enough to afford all the birthday and anniversary gifts that she wanted. Now, even though we know that this is lighthearted, this is exactly where we're headed when we're thinking about the greed. Everything was cool when we can pay. Everything was all right. We may be a little upset. We may be a little angry, but we're going to keep giving here in this country, and we're going to keep giving, and we're going to keep giving, and we're going to keep giving. And eventually, something's going to snap. The kitty can't stay lit forever. The kitty can't stay lit forever. The kitty can't keep giving. The kitty give out every now and again. And what'll happen is we won't have anyone, as we do not have now, but it's going to be apparent then, to redeem us. I promise that's what's going to happen. Now, there's another story that's deeply seated in greed. And remember, you guys, we're starting out easy. Starting out easy. We don't want to mess up the good old algo, because, algo don't have much rhythm. Okay, let's go ahead and get another one for you here, dealing specifically with the greed of it all. So now, tonight, somebody else took a nice big tumble. Somebody else took another tumble. Who could this be? Who got 11 years in federal prison? Now listen, it's not necessarily about lottery money. No, it's not about lottery money with this one, but it's definitely about greed. Oh, it's about greed. Sure it is. Let's get with it. All right. You guys have already heard this. Pregnant woman. Let me give it bigger. Let's get it bigger. There we go, baby. All right. Pregnant. The Reynolds founder, Elizabeth Holmes, is sentenced to 11 years in federal prison for multi-million-dollar blood testing fraud conspiracy. Now, some would say, well, that's not the same. I submit it is exactly the same, because she ain't doing this for nothing, baby. She did all that for money. Whatever they accused her of, allegedly, it's all for money. Holmes, 38, has been sentenced to 11.25 years in prison with 3 years of supervised release. Oh, of course, because she's not a threat. I think people who use their brains to commit fraud are far worse than anybody else to me, because they damage so many more people and harm so many more lives. The Theranos founder, currently pregnant with her second child in 2 years, who cares how many years she has it? Who cares? Has been ordered to self-surrender on April 27th. Let me come back on this side. Let me tell you something. Don't you know? If you had done something, they would come and round your rump up today, but you rich, and all you did was a little bit of something with somebody else's money and committed fraud. You're not a threat. Hang out until April. Just come on in whenever you want. They told her to come turn herself in April. Help here, Holy Ghost. Her partner, Billy Evans, was among the 137 members who wrote letters to the judge asking for mercy. Addressing the court, Holmes broke down in tears, saying, I stand before you, taking responsibility for Theranos. I love Theranos. It was my life's work. Federal Judge Edward Davila said the tragedy in this case is that Holmes is brilliant. That's the danger in the case, is that she's brilliant. So it says that the disgraced CEO, Elizabeth Holmes, was sentenced to 11 years in prison by a federal judge for defrauding investors out of millions. Now, what was your life's work, sis? Excuse me. Was your life's work defrauding them out of the money, or was your life's work creating the company to defraud them out of money? I don't know. But it says that she sobbed as she was sentenced by U.S. federal judge Edward Davila, telling the court that she tried to change the world. Well, you did. You showed other folk how not to do what you did and get caught up like you did. She was surrounded by her friends and family who hugged her in the courtroom after her sentence was handed down, dressed in a dark blouse and black skirt. The judge ordered her 11.25 years in prison. Should have gave her longer. 3 years of that supervised. And she's going to be able to surrender quietly in April. Have the holidays. It's okay. The court's dockets don't really free up a little bit until after the top of the year anyway. So just go ahead and have Thanksgiving with your family. Go do that Christmas. Go on out there. Go do Christmas. Have your New Year's. Bottles up, sis. Bottles up. Have your little baby shower. Do all that. Well, her lawyers are expected to ask the judge to allow her to remain free on bail during her appeal, which she has 14 days to file. Holmes became pregnant again after her January conviction. Well, she got it in. She got it in. You know what I mean? Some people, they just don't get enough. So she got it in. She was a little excited. Things happened. She was a little stressed out. As she just a great stress reliever. All right. So she got pregnant again. Big deal. Okay. She took a little of the stress off. That's what she should have been doing more than what she started to do. During the hearing, Holmes cried as she said that she was devastated by her failures and would have done many things differently if she had the chance. I have felt shame for what people went through because I failed them. No, you didn't. You did what you set out to do. I don't like these jailhouse confessions type things. I just don't. I don't like you to try to all of a sudden get real chummy with everybody and start acting like you just so wrong now. You're upset that you got caught, sister. You ain't upset about nothing and how you failed nobody, because while you was screwing them over, you wasn't sitting in the corner crying and whining, sucking on your thumb and pulling up your sock, rocking back and forth. You wasn't doing none of that. So stop it, I say. Sentencing Holmes, Davila said, this case is so troubling on so many levels. There's no question that Ms. Holmes is bright. Was there a loss of moral compass here? The tragedy of this case is Ms. Holmes is brilliant. And she wasn't like Pookie and Ray Ray them. She wasn't like Billy Bob them. She wasn't like Pookie and Ray Ray down there in Compton. She wasn't like Billy Bob out there playing on his banjo and sucking on his corncob pipe. Wasn't like none of Bonquisha and them out there getting their 40-ounce on, pouring out a little for their friends. None of that at all. She was bright. No, she a crook. She a crook. Call them what they are. She a crook, just like Bonquisha, just like Billy Bob, and just like Pookie them and Ray Ray. She a crook because she crooked. Oh, she's brilliant. They brilliant too. Do you know how many entrepreneurs you got that's slanging dope? That's why they entrepreneurs. Them cats be. Why do you think they do what they do and do it so well? But the deal was, just like with Pookie, Ray Ray, Billy Bob, and Bonquisha, they were watching her. And all she had to do was shade outside that line, because I'm going to tell you something. You don't get up here this high and you don't palm. You've been greasing somebody's palms. You don't get up here this high and do all this kind of fraudulent behavior without somebody knowing it. So she stepped out of line somewhere. So it says failure is normal. Now, she's brilliant, remember? But failure by fraud is not okay. What is the pathology of fraud, he asks. It is the inability to accept responsibility. Perhaps that cautionary tale to come from this case. Perhaps that the cautionary tale to come from this case, not Pookie Neal. Holmes and her family remained silent as they walked into the court building, holding hands with her partner Billy Evans. Billy! Oh, Billy. You know where I hid that money, Billy, and it better be there when I get out. And I ain't playing. Oh, Billy! She was allowed to remain seated by U.S. District Judge Edward Davila during the proceedings, with the federal government recommending that she spend 15 years behind bars. 15 years. That's what she should have did. That girl down there that they claim is out there and that whole made-up thing they got going on with her, the basketball player being stuck out there in Russia. You see, they was all having a fit for the amount of years that she got. Ain't nobody saying she should have done the 15 in this case. She should have done the 15 in this case, just like that heifer that's out there in Russia. Need to spend the time that she did for what she did, because the place where she is, they wanted to give her more than that. Right? Yeah. Right. But she got to skate a little bit on the time because, but this one here, no, she need to do all 15 of those. Hard time, so that she don't come out. See, all she gonna do right now, sitting in Club Med, is figure out a way to get around it next time. She's gonna figure out a way to get enough fall guys to where they take the fall, and she's gonna remember how never to get on the phone conversation with none of them. So next time she won't go down for what she need to go down for, and that's Rico. Because at that point, that's exactly what this chick is gonna do. She's still young enough to get a whole lot of that brightness sharpened. See, that's this money that we run in here. That's how that's how this system here is making people turn into. They figure, oh, such and such got away with it. My mother knows a Congress I'm in. My mother knows, or my father, my parents know. They rub elbows with judges. I can get out of this. See, that's where that mindset come from. That's why you get all these folks that's got some money thinking that they can get away with it. Why? Because they see everything and they know all the stuff that's going on as it relates to corruption here. They already know what's good. They already know what's up. And so therefore, they put themselves into this Teflon, Mighty Mouse type of environment where can't nobody touch them because they believe that they're that. You see, she done ticked somebody off. Yeah, I loved the company. It was my life's work. There are so many things that I would do differently if I had the chance. I tried to realize my dream too quickly. No, heifer, you greedy. Yesterday, I tried to change the world. Today, I'm wise and want to change myself. And you will. You will. Look at you, little freak. You will. Yeah. Look at a little pudge. Yep. You're going to get in there. Look at those eyes. Gentlemen, do you see the eyes on this woman? Do you see those eyes? Those are the kind of eyes that get real bugged. They get big. They put the believe me face on. Okay? They get the believe me face on. Believe me. And they get real big. You guys know what I'm talking about. They be turning into Karens. Get the eyes real big. There's black Karens, white Karens, Asian Karens. Oh, I've seen all kinds of Karens. With this Karen right here, yeah. Don't mess around here and mess with her the wrong way. I'm telling you. Guys that are single out there, you see these kind of eyes, run. I don't care what shade is around the eyes. It could be a beautiful tan shade. It could be a beautiful brown shade, chocolate shade. It could be very, very pale from Okinawa. I would not care. When they get big and bug like that, run. Trust your big sister. I'm telling you what I know. Okay, so there she is. She and her family, silent. They were surrounded by the cameras and reporters. Yeah, this is the face she's making. I'm not going to be in here long. You do know that, right? They already told me, my lawyer already told me that, really, they just had to play the game. They just had to make sure the stuff goes into the public eye, and that, we did all the stuff for the cameras and everything. But I'm really going to get out, They're going to probably, like as soon as the baby is born or whatever, they're going to maybe, let me get out a little earlier. My lawyer already told me. Oh, yeah. My mom is friends with his mother's sister's cousin, who's friends with the judge. Yeah, I'm going to get out. Allegedly, she defrauded the investors out of $140 million by claiming that her blood test technology would change the world. Really? Where your slip? Where's your slip, little girl? You see that? Where your slip, little girl? Heavily pregnant, Holmes and her family remain silent as they walk into the court building, holding hands with her partner, Billy. She will have to surrender on April 27th. We're all a united front. Billy, you better run. You better run, Billy. Run, Billy, run. Telling you. And her mama, see her mama's face? Look at mama's face. If that's mama. Oh, yeah, you see where she get it now. Yeah, I want my money and I want all of it. You think you're going to divorce me and leave it all? I'm going to get you back. And she learned all of that from her. This chick right here is danger. That's the danger zone right there. It said that he ruled that the reasonable total loss from 10 investors, including Rupert Murdoch, Betsy DeVos. What did I tell you? Let me come back on the screen. I'm telling you. Didn't I just tell y'all this heifer know somebody and she done tick somebody off? Didn't I just tell y'all this heifer knew somebody and she done ticked somebody off? And I just told you guys I don't read these no more. I read them with y'all for the first time. I pull them based on our topic and I read them with y'all for the first time. Rupert Murdoch and Betsy DeVos. If this heifer spend any time in there, I'd be amazed. Because the corruption and the level of corruption and the thumbing of the nose to the system, the president who is supposed to keep the laws, who are supposed to make sure that he is making sure that all the laws are adhered to, not doing his gig. Son out there just running amok because there's nobody minding the store anymore. Ain't nobody minding this place. But you better not shade outside the line, my friend. You better make sure that it wasn't a dollar when you put 10 when you do your taxes, because they're gonna come after you with everything they got. Full barrels. You just saw what they got prepared for everybody who does right. And I know you know somebody who's corrupt that's getting away with a muck, and you're like, what on the planet? They're running amok. Muck with an M. Muck. Algorithm, if you got some. Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. So my thing is, I knew it. I knew this chick was, I didn't even know who she was until we started reading this here. Huh? But look who she knows. And how can those people, how can they be ever defrauded? Let me finish with this. I'll get myself in some mess dealing with these folks. Ooh, oh boy. Okay. Including, they should have left this out because this just told what I had to say. Murdoch and DeVos totals $121 million. A restitution will take place in the future. He added that Holmes had not accepted responsibility for her actions, telling the court that she maintains that she did nothing wrong. That's why she need that 15 years. And you know what? Take her to Sybil Brand if they even still got that prison out there in California. Change your jurisdiction. Send her out there to the women's correction facility down there with them hardened criminals. Okay? Send her someplace where them hardened criminals. You want to be rough? You want to steal from people? You want to defraud folks? Send her down there. Send her to one of the roughest women's prisons. That's what you do. Put her out there with the general population. That's what you do. Yeah, let her learn. Let her learn. Let her learn. Why y'all shielding her? Well, we already know she ain't gonna do none of this time. April gonna come and go. And she's still gonna be sitting at the house. Alex Schultz, the son of George Schultz, the father of Tyler Schultz, told the court that Tyler slept with a knife under his pillow out of fear that someone was going to kill him because he stood up for Elizabeth. No. Elizabeth just paid her dues to go up a little higher, baby. She just got in the club. That's what happened with this girl, allegedly. I'm just telling you what my gut is picking up, but it's alleged because I don't know. But baby girl just paid some dues so she can go up higher. That's all. That's all. He said, they took advantage of my dad. He never wanted to be irrelevant. Elizabeth recognized that and targeted him. Elizabeth hired a private investigator to follow my son. My son slept with a knife under his pillow, thinking someone was going to come in and delete him in the middle of the night. There's a lot of talk about Sonny and Elizabeth. From my family's perspective, Elizabeth and their Sonny Balwani, she took advantage of my family. U.S. Attorney John Bostic told the court that while Holmes was not guilty of intending to defraud patients, that does not mean that she did not have a reckless disregard for them. Bostic told the court that they should consider an enhancement to her sentence because she engaged in recklessness that put patients at risk of bodily harm. And he said that She did so by advertising the blood testing technology to healthcare providers and patients and used the devices on patients despite knowing the results were unreliable. The court also heard that Holmes told a Walgreens consultant, quote, "They don't put pretty people like me in jail," close quote. What did I just tell y'all about the heifer and her eyeballs? Do you know how many companies came out over the last 2 or 3 years doing all kinds of fraud against people? I'm not speaking from the investment standpoint because the investors is one thing, right? The investors, they're one thing. But what I'm referring to is people like you, people like me, people like others that we know that thought that X was going to be okay. And so they would go out and they buy it thinking it was going to be this or that, only to find out that it was a nothing. There was a nothing salad there. Just a nothing salad. So this whole entire situation is what America has become. The story that I read at first, this one that I'm reading right now, this tells you the very fabric of the nation. Because the first person was a nobody. This lady, we didn't know her, okay, except for those who may know of her, all right? But she wasn't like, some big famous person who's been getting away with stuff. Rich, yes. But I'm telling you where the country is. And I'm telling you this tonight because what I want everybody to understand is there's no rescue. Nobody is going anywhere. Nobody's going away. Nobody's going to do time. No one is going anywhere. Change the topic. Get on to something else. Get on your knees. Nobody going nowhere. Nobody coming to get nobody. You got people who literally gave their life for nothing, running, telling somebody something. Oh, look at this information that I just found out. That this person didn't win. This person won, and this person did this and that. Now this poor child, he gone. He gone. Deleted. In the middle of the road like a dog with everything intact. Wallet, watch, money. Because it wasn't about what he had on him, because it wasn't that type of party. So no one's going anywhere. There'll be no vindication for anyone who has gone on before us. The reason why I don't get deep no more. Because ain't nobody going to care. Why? Because ain't nobody going to do nothing. Stay on your knees. Ain't nobody going to do nothing. Nobody doing nothing to these folks. Let's go ahead and continue. Ain't nobody doing nothing to these folks. They ain't going nowhere. Okay? Here's all your tags on this one. The prosecuting attorney claims that at one point they wrote, "They don't put attractive people like me in jail." Honey, if that's attractive, what's attractive is what you used to look, is what you look like now. But if your mama is any indication of what she used to look like, then what you look like in the future is this woman here, because your mother looks like she's gone through some stuff and she's very bitter. Her mouth tells me she's bitter. And you are nuts. You're just cuckoo. Just cuckoo. Let's go ahead and have another gander at what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about greed. For the love of money? Is it for the love of money? What is it about? What's it all about, Alfie? Is this business as usual, or is it the love of money? Is it really the root of all evil? Look at that. That's where we are. That's this nation. This nation giving to everybody and their mama. But are they? Were they given to everybody and their mama? How many of us kept asking the question, why are we giving so much? Why are we giving so much? Why is there so much being given? Why? Why are they paying all this money? Why all of the new technology and all these different things they're sending over there? Why? Why? And then the other day, when I said that story might change and we don't really know exactly what's going on because it didn't sound right to me, y'all say it didn't sound right to you. And then don't you know what they do after they got that big old gigantic fanfare going about the whole scuttlebutt between Ukraine and Russia the other day. They come back and they say, "Oh, sorry, it's a misprint." After you done got the preponderance of the citizenry, like us, because we were on the fence. You guys, let me come on over here and see you for a second. Do you remember the other day we were on the fence? And we were on the fence because we were saying, wait a minute, something don't feel right, but hey, it could be this, it could be a double FF, it could be this, it could be that. We didn't understand. But then what did they do right after that? They came right out and said, oh, no, it was a mistake. It was something of theirs. We think it was friendly fire. So therefore, I'm not doing any more of those stories. My sister's not here because she was going in constantly, did not sleep to put this stuff out. So I ain't doing them on news, not they news. Not they news. Oh, but I'm gonna give you some news, but it won't be that news. Why? Because there's too much, there's too many lies. I gotta have my name down here on the list of being a liar. I'm not a liar. But I'm telling you right now, all the stuff that they're allowing to be said in the time that they're doing it, and they're retracting stuff later, and then bringing this back out and doing this or that, all of those things are done on purpose. None of that stuff is by accident. You ain't got but a handful of companies that actually disseminate information. And up under them are several other companies, right? So you do what you do, but you know what you're doing. But you ain't going to use me to do it. All right? You're not going to do it. But anyway, there go your clock. Let's go ahead and take a look. We only got a few more minutes left together. We're going to go ahead and take a look at a couple of more stories. But the one story that's right in dealing with what we're talking about right now, I want you to look at this because he's at it again. You guys already know it. Everybody already knows it. Well, we got to put it out here. We got to talk about this. It just would not be right if we didn't. It just wouldn't be. Now, where is it at? Let me find it. Here I go again with this. I just don't like it either. I do this all the time. Read that. May as well get rid of that one. Okay, I'm going to do you in a second, Cynthia. I'll be reading your story in a second. I got to talk about that too. Let's just do this one right now until I can find the other one. No. I've got to find Mr. Biden. I got to find Biden. Okay. Yep. I think I've just about had it. But they really got to hurry up and give it up. They really got to go over there and hurry up. Here we go. Reuters. Let's get it. Let me clear this out and start it again. Yeah, because it doesn't allow me to start fresh. Yeah, let's just look at it. Because to me, we already know this money's bouncing back somewhere. Here it is right there. So more. What are you doing? Will you go away? There you are. There he is. Hello, Mr. Senility and Sister Senility sitting behind you there. They all get the glass bottles, but don't you know you can hardly find the glass ones anymore? All right. The Biden administration, make sure that you guys can see this. Let me give it to you big so you can see it. We're going to read it all together here. All right. Let's go. Get a little larger. All right. The Biden administration is asking Congress for $9.2 billion to fight COVID-19 and an additional $37.7 billion to support Ukraine in its war with Russia. As part of a supplemental funding request, the U.S. official said on Tuesday, the administration is also requesting $750 million to fight other infectious diseases and will be seeking additional money for natural disaster relief, officials said. Quote, the Congress has an opportunity and obligation to address 3 additional critical funding needs that should earn bipartisan support, protecting the American people from COVID-19 and saving lives globally, supporting the people of Ukraine, and helping communities across the nation recover from devastating natural disasters. This comes from Shalonda Young. She said in a letter to the House of Representatives, Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Boy, I'd love to talk about her tonight. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Anyway, the White House officials have said the administration would focus on funding the government and the U.S. COVID response, as well as getting judges confirmed during the so-called lame duck period through the end of this year. Biden officials have been seeking more money from Congress to fight COVID-19 for some time without success. The new funds would be used to prepare for a possible winter surge in cases, smooth the path to commercialization for vaccines and therapeutics, and speed up the research and the treatment for long COVID, and develop new vaccines and treatments, the White House said, of the $9.25 billion Christmas payment. $1 billion would go toward helping to fight the virus worldwide. Well, 1 billion sounds like a billion that's going to leave here and go in somebody's kid's pocket for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for birthday. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that? No, I don't mean that. Let me finish reading. I said that I misspoke. The funding for Ukraine for the duration of the fiscal year would go to defense equipment, humanitarian assistance, and nuclear security support, the White House said. This is the love of money. This is your money. That's your money. That's your money at work. That's your money. I'm here to tell you, baby, that's your money. So what do we get out of all of this before we move on? What we get out of all of this is these people going to do what these people want to do. They're not going to stop. They're not going to change. It does not matter who we vote in or out. If we vote or don't vote, it don't matter. Did you just see the debacle that we just looked at? The whole doggone thing is a clown college S show. It's an S show. S. All of it is every inch of it. Every inch of it. The whole darn thing. You know, doggone good and well, this money ain't going nowhere. It's going to go. They must got a new wash house. They must got a new wash house. It's going to go from one wash house and through the next wash house, go bounce over, and then come right back. They got a new wash house. Must got a new wash house. Yeah, that's it. We can't be getting up in these people's business. We even have governments across the water and other governments over here, and our government entangled fighting about things like mineral rights and what on the planet is going on? Let's look at this right here. We're going to look at this. It's all about the love of money. Is this just business as usual? Or is it steeped in the root of all evil? Love of money. It is. Let's get a handle on this one. Let's get a handle on this one. We'll read this together. We'll read together for the first time. We're going to read it together. Okay? Let's get it together here. Here we go. I hope everybody is doing well tonight. I want to tell you guys I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me. Thank you so very much. Okay? So now the U.S. military in talks with Canadian miners for key minerals as rivalry with China grows. Now, I'm not sure if this is the story that I had the other day, because to be honest with you guys, I've really, really, really gotten disgusted. But I know there was another story that interests me. This may be it. Let's read. Let's make it a little bigger so you guys can definitely see it. Okay, just a smidge. Let me just hit okay. I know they're going to start plaguing me. Send me all kind of information that I don't want, but okay, well, whatever. All right. Let me make sure that you guys have this. Let me give it all to you. No, we'll go together like this. Yeah, we'll hang out like this. It's all good. I'm in the box down here doing my Vogue. Oh, that's cool. Vogue. Okay, anyway. All right. The United States military is talking to Canada miners about potentially funding some critical miners projects in Canada, the latest evidence of President Joe Biden's administration's commitment to cutting its reliance on China for metals needed to build defense equipment and expand electric vehicle markets. Hello. Since I'm talking to people of like mind with me, we're gonna get down to the brass tacks. You know and I know that they got our mines. I'm talking about them over there with the red and the gold, not the French guys. They have all of our minds by the cojones. They've been holding on and tugging on them forever. So what is this? One of those projects is in the Ring of Fire, region of Northern Ontario, which Premier Ford's government believes has multi-generational potential to produce minerals such as nickel and copper that are currently in high demand as countries look to accelerate the shift away from fossil fuels. The one that I'm referring to is the one where China is attempting to purchase somebody. I know Deborah might know this one. Or even if Anthony is still here, it is the story. Somebody tell me where I can find it. It's the story where Canada has ownership of one of our mines, maybe even part. And China is attempting to purchase said mines from Canada. It may have already happened. Okay? That's the story that I'm referring to. This is new to me. Again, we're reading together. Yeah. Okay. So it says, we've had initial discussions. Somebody find that if you can. We've had initial discussions with the U.S. Department of Defense regarding the important role that Northern Ontario's Ring of Fire region will play in producing the critical minerals needed by Canada and the United States. Luca Giacovazzi. Sounds like a Vazier. The chief executive of Wyloo Metals, the Australian company that owns the Eagle's Nest project in the area, confirmed in a statement. Ontario is currently working to build an all-season pathway to connect the Ring of Fire with manufacturers in the southern part of the province. The project, which is being advanced with the help of 2 Indigenous groups, however, has also faced opposition by other First Nations. Okay. Toronto-based Electra Battery Materials Corporation is another group that has had preliminary discussions with the Department of Defense, and in September, the company inked its first big commercial contract when it signed a deal to supply LG Energy Solution, a global lithium-ion battery maker, with 7,000 tons of cobalt from its Ontario refinery. Lithium miner Avalon Advance, you guys remember we talked about Avalon Advance a few months back, Incorporated, based in Toronto, also had talks with the United States Department of Defense. The capital-intensive nature of our projects and moving them at the requisite speed is a sizable challenge. This comes from Syed, Sishan Syed, the company's vice president of external affairs. Our U.S. colleagues quite clearly understand they have a role to play to help fortify North America as a dominant player. Now, I'm going to come out of here for a second because here's the skinny. We have sold out all. Them people done sold out all of our mineral, of our areas with all the minerals. We got water being moved, all for the love of money. But what is any of this money going to do you? How's any of this money going to do you any good? Because see, when they deal with traders, they realize that a trader is the last thing you want to keep around. Anybody who'll sell themselves, their country out, their family out, the people, whoever it is that you sold it to, don't you already know they side-eyeing you? A snitch, somebody who's a sellout, ain't gonna last long. Ain't gonna last long. So we just sit back and get our bags of popcorn and continue to watch, acting as if they're so concerned. Broader strategy. The managing director of the Center for International Governance Innovation, a think tank, said the American government discussion with the Canadian miners were tactically part of a broader strategy on how Western democracies confront adversarial authoritarian state actors, such as China. How dare you sit here and lie on China? How we lying on China? I'm being real tonight. You, I'm gonna give her a name. Yuja, United States. I'm gonna give her a name. Now, Yuja, USA. Yuja, girl, you know you lying on that boy over there. Chania. China. You over there lying on Chania. Yuja, you wrong for that. You know you done sold that boy all your goods. You know you the one that gave all your goods out the back door. Now you trying to make everybody around you believe that he took it from you and that you don't have nothing to do with it. You even trying to let some of them folk down there think that you still own that stuff. Because you never told nobody that you done gave it all to them for pennies on the dollar. Usually you wrong. Don't forget the name, y'all. We done gave her a name. We got Chania and Yuja. I'm not even reading no more of this BS. Not reading no more of it. We done with that. But let's go back and look at what's important. Because what's important is right here. Because all the lies, all the stories, all the tales they do tell, all of that. There you go. All of that. That's all of that. All of that, my baby. All of that. All of that. So the only thing that we're going to have to do right now is to get it together, get our houses in order. We've been screaming it. But you know why I love y'all? Because you guys truly and honestly are. You are what make up awake. You are what makes up awake. Yeah, you are. I want to tell you guys something. Now that we've heard who's going to be, in the next part of the next scene, the next act, scene one, the next act, scene one is 2024. The next act, scene one, 2024. Mr. Naranga. Mr. Naranga will be back, ladies and gentlemen, to finish what he started. Unfortunately, there are several people who have no idea who he really is, and yet they're still holding on. And they said before they were never going to use the term lesser of the two evils ever again. Now they're considering it, not knowing that there's been a snare set for them, and that if you let the snake in again, he's going to bite you. And then he'll ask, "Stupid woman, you knew that I was a snake? You knew what this was before the dance even started," the man said to the woman after he took her cookies that night, and didn't even so much as leave $1 on the nightstand, and he ran out. "You knew what this was, I told you," the cheater says to the woman that he was winking at the office. Why? Because it's all corruption. Every single bit of this stuff is corruption. Every inch of it. And all stinks. Smells all the same. Because poop smells like poop. But then there is some poop that does smell worse. And I submit that this crap that we're dealing with right now is by far the worst. It's the worser. And it's going to get worser. Let all that stuff go, y'all. Because I guarantee you the time that we have right now really, truly, and honestly is for just getting it together. I want to say hello to all of you guys. I see R. Jones. You know it, sis. I got to. Shaq. Charles Peterson. How are you? Marcus. Cheryl, Kentucky girl. There's my other son, Frank. How's it going? Anarchy Television. Joy Trujillo. It's a lot of you guys in here tonight. And I want to thank you for your support. Jane Doe. You guys saw the story I put up yesterday. Audacity. How you been? We're talking about the announcement about them saying, "Oh, righty, now we're gonna go to Mars. We haven't even been to the moon yet, but now we're gonna go to Mars." Yeah, everybody's waiting for us to go back to the moon, but we can't because, well, we lost all of the data. Go figure. No, I ain't figuring nothing, player. I read the story. Had to read it because I'd like to point out the fact that you got Apollo. You got Artemis. You got all them other Greek gods. And then you guys get up and you rock the stuff you rock on Sabbaths. Maybe you guys look back. Each and every time they've done anything with a rocket, it's been on a Sabbath. And I'm not talking about the Saturdays, and I'm not talking about these other Sundays. I'm talking about dealing with the moon. When I've been taking my Sabbath, they're going to the moon, allegedly. They're doing something. They're doing something. Don't forget you're dealing with warlocks and witches. Don't forget what you're dealing with. Do you see what I'm saying? Don't forget it. Don't forget it. What you're dealing with. But every single time they've attempted, it has always been on a Sabbath. New moons and Sabbaths. Because they know something you don't. They know something that the preponderance does not. Yeah. So, as we look at this beautiful clock go before us, and everybody wonders, when can it end? When is it going to end? It's going to end, baby, when you go down there to that store and that loaf of bread costs you $13. It's going to end, baby, when you go down there to that store and you can't even get a can of pet milk. It's going to end. It's going to end. It's going to end. Deborah Johnson, I love you, baby. Thank you for supporting the channel, supporting my work. I appreciate you. But Deborah, girl, let me tell you something. You know that to do what my sister did is something heavy, right? Baby, I can't let it go. Ooh-wee. Alan, how you doing, baby? Here's my point, folks. I'm going to say this gently. I'm going to say it gently. They have so many flies in the buttermilk, and there's so many lies that are around right now that it's very hard to disseminate what's what. And so I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff dealing with y'all already know what I love. You guys know that I love anything dealing with physics, anything dealing with science, anything dealing with history, that stuff. We go in there. Because that last thing, you guys, that was a hot rump mess. Oh, yes, breaking news. Yeah. Yeah, they just sent to them. 2 people passed away. Don't you understand? 2 people. Look what just happened. Had everybody run on. And we were all saying in the chat that day we was reading, it was like, you know what? I think we need to this is what they saying, y'all, but I guarantee you it's something else. And then to come out and say, oh, oops, it wasn't correct. It was, it could have been them. It could have, oops, you Barney Fife MFer. Oops, you one bullet Barney. Woo, nip it. One bullet Barney could have took out everything. Could have took out everybody and everybody's mama with that type of accusation. And here's why I'm telling you this. Because that means there's a whole lot more misinformation they're going to be pushing. And there's not going to be anybody liable for it. It's going to be one gigantic oops because they wanted to see exactly how much of a rise they could get out of the people. So no, sir, no, ma'am. You ain't going to have me doing all of that garbage. I'll talk about other stuff. There's lots of things we can talk about. Headlines do a whole lot of headlines. We can talk about a whole lot of stuff. But what we're not going to do is help them promulgate their game. You ain't going to play no game with me. We're not going to help push their game. And that's why the other day when I did the thing, we were talking about the Artemis. That was so hilarious to me because people were like, y'all know what y'all said. I was out there cracking up. Give him a prize. He's right. Oh, Lord have mercy. You guys, we are definitely coming up on 1 hour. And I don't ever like to hold you longer than that unless it's really, really important or something that we're just having a great time talking about. I enjoy each and every one of you, Fang Meisters, all of you for being here. Frank D, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate all of you guys. And I especially thank you so much, Deborah Johnson, for blessing us this evening. For all of you guys, Psycho Fire, how you doing? Tom Jefferson, how you doing? How you doing? Risa, how you doing? Good to see you. Jane Doe, how's it going? Here's my brother, Anthony. Hey, Anthony. Joy Trujillo. I think I said hello to you already, sister. But for those of you guys that I missed, Mike Barber, how are you? Rolf Steiner, how are you? Anybody that I missed, you guys, please, again, count it always. Diana, count it to my head and not my heart. All right, Blade Runner, all of you guys are the best. So I want to remind you guys, Excellent Eagle and Mark Moussard. I want to remind each and every one of you guys what we always say here on any Felicia Lockhart publication, and that is that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High. You guys continue to take care of yourselves, and then you can turn around and take care of somebody else. And until you and I see each other again, I want you guys to remember to do one thing. Please continue to be blessed. Okay? Y'all take care.
To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Lockhart Perspective. Helping you